While we're very proud of what we do and how we do it, it's a very traditional distribution network prior to voice. It focused mainly around moving pallets, moving freights, trying to sequence work through a batch process, which is probably one of the challenges you have, because the dynamics of your workflow and the dynamics of your plan, the key word is dynamic, they change.
Well, before voice we had RF forklift, not in all areas were we on check digits. In the fresh area we weren't on check digits. We used a green bar, and then just before voice we put in RF applications for the forklift operations. We followed up with selectors based on QCs from assignments they performed on paper, which was a paper tear tag that they would take off a sheet, put onto each case they selected, and then put the case on the pallet.
So we felt we had pretty good backgrounds. We went looking at what are the other solutions, and voice was the intriguing one. We looked at the industry, we looked at the providers of that, and hands down in the food retailing, food distribution market, Vocollect is the player.
Voice we looked at 2 or 3 different times, and 3 years ago we finally decided to take the plunge and implement voice. We were ready for it then.
The first is the dynamics of the technology and its ability to interface with the warehouse management systems. The second was selector acceptance. It didn't have the constraints of pick-to-light system with the infrastructure, or with RF, the cumbersome of the technology. And the third was the aspects of ergonomics. It allowed the selector to have 2 hands, which no other application did. Those are 3 examples of what kind of said we think voice is the application in our full case warehouse solution to move to for selection. They have folks on their team that came from the food distribution, so they know our business, and they were able to easily take their product, meet our needs, and bundle that with, or easily connect it with our warehouse management system.
Take one. 6 5,000.
Our biggest struggle at that time was inventory gain. Our biggest measurement that we looked at every year, besides the cost per case and our productivity, was our inventory gain. What should have been at retail and was still inside our facility.
They wanted to decrease our inventory gain, and they told us that most sites got 75% reduction. We ended up getting a total of 85% reduction once we implemented Vocollect.
For me, it's really a cultural impact, and what it's done in our DC, how people feel, morale, certainly retention's improved.
Now, the likelihood of someone staying after 3 months is twice what that likelihood was before we used voice. You know, you go out and you hand someone a bonus check for incentive after 3 months versus going out to talk to someone who was on paper and saying, why aren't you going faster? They're now looking at work that's very difficult, and they're earning the pay that they'd want to earn on it.
Before, I was working at a rate around 115 to 120%, but now I can consistently work up to 100, 160%. So my incentive check at the end of the month has greatly improved by 10 to 15 hours a month.
I don't know how to directly put a price on where that ROI has helped our culture, our relationships between our management and our associates, and our relationship with our subcontract provider. That we have saved money.
Obviously, the top benefit of voice selection has been accuracy.
You don't see people worrying about their accuracy as much. With the TalkBand system, you know that your accuracy is going to be up there. It's almost impossible to make mistakes.
On our old system, the paper system, my accuracy rate was around 2 per 1,000. And then the voice system, I've only made 1 error in roughly the last 60,000 cases.
Retail stores are getting accurate orders, resulting in less rework, resulting in the right product being on the shelf when they want it versus an error that might have caused them to reorder and have an out of stock.
Another really big learning we had was with project management, and that was, who do you get involved in the front end? How do you deal with your naysayers? How do you get them involved? And some of the biggest things that we learned were our biggest naysayers that would not use this technology when it first came to departments. 2 of those people are now our best trainers. There's a lot of history at Hannaford, and nobody really wanted to change that history because of changing ways. But once we started using it, most everybody now likes to use the Vocollect system.